Darlene Panzera from Aspiring Writer Academy. And today we welcome Kate Breslin. She writes Christian historical fiction, and her newest book is As Dawn Breaks. And our topic today is on book launch promotion. So welcome, Kate.
Thank you, Darlene. I'm very happy to be here on Aspiring Writer Academy and to see you and to just share with your viewers.
So Kate's books are published through Bethany House, a division of Baker Publishing Group. Can you tell us how Bethany House helps promote their new releases?
Sure, I can. Basically, as a traditionally published author, my publisher does the heavy lifting as far as the doing the promotion on the books. I can just give you a few examples here. They offer handouts. They create bookmarks. If I need bookmarks, flyers, posters, they'll do that. They will do book-specific press releases. They can organize book signing events for me if I so choose, but they will go ahead and they'll advertise my book in trade publications. For an example, like Christian Retailing or Kirkus Reviews or Publishers Weekly, they'll send them advanced reading copies for, potential review. And they also will do, some radio and podcast series. It's just a variety of things. But they do the national and actually international distribution. They also are very active on social media. And so they will post, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And they do, they have a monthly blog and monthly newsletters, so they'll mention it there. And then they also have a partnership with a communications organization so that they reach influencers in Canada and the UK. So that's really very helpful. So they do the big stuff for me. I can't see it, but it's, it's out there and they're doing it.
That's really great, because I know not all publishers do all that, and so that's just wonderful.
Yeah, they've got an investment in me, and they want to make sure, that they want me to succeed, of course, but it's a business too, and they've got an investment, and they do a certain amount of marketing. Nowadays, though, to be honest, traditional and indie authors all have to do a lot more marketing than say 20 or 30 years ago, because of just the way the publishing market has shifted. So I'm glad they still do that. But yes, definitely authors have to get their hands in there and promote their books, even if you're traditionally published. So
well, I know Kate has an amazing promotion strategy, and she has a very large street team of readers nicknamed Kate's Crusaders, who help promote your books whenever you have a new release. Can you tell us how you first put your street team together?
I can. After I didn't do it with my first book, which was For Such a Time. I don't know if you can see it there.
Yeah.
But I did do it with my second book, Not by Sight. And I've done it for my third, fourth, and fifth, which is As Dawn Breaks, right here. Basically how I started, because, I wasn't real well known at the time. I basically solicited I would get, reader emails, and I saw where people would post favorably online about my book. So I kind of approached them and said, would you like to be on a launch team? And of course they were. And one of the things too, there was an incentive, that my publisher offered free a certain amount of free paperback copies. And also those for international would be like an ARC, which is an advanced reader copy, or a galley, a digital galley that they could sign up for, so that they could read the book before everybody else and then have their reviews ready to post at launch. And so this is kind of how I started, and I basically it's just grown over, with each book it grows, and I set up a Facebook launch team where I could, have everybody in one place, and it's a private group, and
you have a leader who coordinates that for you?
I do. Well, I basically have set up the Facebook groups myself, but yes, I have a launch team captain, and I've had 3 wonderful launch team captains so far, and they will basically they keep up on like book blasts, like we book blast certain days of the week with the book, like launching graphics. For my last book, for example, I created quite a few graphics for the novel, and I posted them in a place that my launch team could access. And then my launch team captain would give the word that day, hey guys, today let's post Kate's book out there on the social media waves and things like that. And then I always have fun games and prizes and things we do throughout the launch, which lasts about 45 days. Is how long I basically the launch and launch team. And for like, how if those that promote the most get a prize, that sort of thing. And so my launch team captain is really just so helpful with that. In fact, one of my launch team captains actually, who lives not too far from me, came and we videotaped my book birthday, the day the book came out. We were in a historic city, local city here, and she just made it fun. And then we posted those videos online, and they're on my Facebook author page. And so, just a lot of different things that way to help me, because it can be a big job, especially if you're trying to write the next book. And, I feel like my launch team is fairly sizable, but I know there are others that have larger launch teams, and they do absolutely have to hire a captain and coordinator for those. And there are those people online on social media that do that, as a sideline or as a business, and for a certain fee, they will just do the whole launch team for you. So, but I like being personal with my launch team, because they're doing this for me, and I definitely think hands-on is important. You really, because they've become my friends too, and I just love them. They support me so much, and I want to be involved.
So everybody gets a free copy, either digital or print, a pre-copy. Pre-copy of the book, and then they're expected to post reviews when the book is released, and then they have the opportunity to win extra prizes and things.
Yeah, I have a list I put together. I call it my wish list, and it's usually 7 or 8 items, and I kind of got it from another author out there years ago. But I just, where I would like you to review or give bookmarks away, so you don't always have to be real savvy on social media, because not everybody is on all the different loops, but just different things. And I usually ask them, say, if there's 8 to 12 items on my wish list, I ask them to do at least 3 in order to receive a complimentary copy of the book or an e-gallery copy of the book. And if they want to do more, I'm very happy with that. And a lot of them do. They go the extra mile. And then, like I said, they usually get the electronic, the digital galleys through NetGalley, and my publisher basically allows them access to that. And I don't know how that would work with, say, a self-published person. You'd have to look into that and see what NetGalley, what their rules and situation is. But it's a very win-win situation. They get to read the book first, and in return, they really help me boost the book so that I get the word out there, at least on social media, up and above what my publisher's doing. So.
So what else do you do when planning a book launch? Do you have a checklist that where you as an author, do you have like a private checklist of, okay, this is how I'm going to start with this new book? Or how do you update your website and social media to feature the new book? Do you have like a Facebook banner, or what's your preliminary agenda when you first start?
Well, there's a lot of different things to do, but basically I do follow a set agenda that I received, and I do a workshop on this myself, actually. About 6 months prior to the book release, I post a cover reveal. My publisher will send me my cover art, and if you're self-published, you can do a reveal on your own, because you want to build up anticipation way before the book comes out. You can add your story premise to the website, to your website, post your cover art on the website. I recently just had my webmaster, post my cover art for In Love's Time, which is my next book coming out in December. And I will slowly start changing some of the imagery on there. And pre-orders are very, very important.
Mhm.
I have rack cards made that I can mail to my influencers, asking them to pass those out so people become, it's kind of a way to mail without using the mail in that way. I actually do target sending these to my influencers, and they will take them to bookstores, coffee shops, churches, wherever they feel they have the cards have a good chance of being received by a potential reader.
Uh-huh.
And so I start doing this, that usually about 3 to 4 months, 5 months ahead of time. So you're just building momentum here.
Uh-huh.
And while that's going on, and you're doing this, you maybe start creating photography, start creating graphics for your book, and that way you're not rushed at the last minute, and you can put these in a file somewhere on your computer. Or what I've done is I put them on a hidden page in my website, and then when I'm ready, I just send this hidden link to all my influencers so they can choose from the graphics that I've created to post online. So you start getting all these things ready ahead of time, because it's going to be busy right around launch time for you.
Right.
And you don't want to be, I have to do this, I have to create these now, create under pressure. It's nice to just start doing them. And then if you have, say you do a book that involves, a chef or cooking or something, then maybe you would want to make up some recipe cards, or, anything that ties to your book. I will, my last book, because it takes place in Scotland, I created some cute little bookmark charms with little Scottish thistles, because the thistle was important to the story. And I put them in little ribbons. And those I was able to, just pop in the mail. They're real small, so I could pop them in an
That's
envelope.
cute.
Different things like
Really
that.
cute.
Or you can buy media too. You can buy like I've seen various things. You can buy little magnets to put in envelopes. Anything that you can send to people to promote your book, that'll keep your book on their minds. So and then just as we get closer, what I normally do is this last book I set up my launch team kind of early, because I do have to give a list to my publisher early, and I just opened the group and started it. But usually about a month before the book releases, set up my Facebook group. I've got my list of influencers already that I had to give to my publisher. I send them the private invitation into the group, and we get in there, and it's, everybody is, of course, everybody that there knows everyone by now, but it's a way to, you just need to be present as the author, introduce everybody, have everybody share about themselves, because really it's kind of a party. You're having this big, wonderful party that's going to last, not only building the momentum up before the book release and their availability to read the book early and review it, but then also you want to run that, an extra couple of weeks after book release, because you are still garnering a lot of new potential readers. Your book's finally out there. It's finally official. So yes, after about 45 days, I usually have different contests. I do, I have a Pinterest contest for best graphic. I love it when they create their own graphics with my book. And a couple other things that, like I said earlier, promotional prizes, like we keep track of how many shares somebody will do, or this thing, and this is another thing that my launch team captain will keep track of for me. And then we add them up, and the top, say the top 3 get prizes. And,
right. Anything to make it fun.
Yeah, anything to make it fun, because they, that's why they're there too. They want to have fun. They want to connect with me. They want to connect with each other. And it's just grown through the years. And I also will have, I set my Facebook page, the group, not on secret, but I think it's on private. It's the one where they have to ask to join, but they can see it out there. And I will sometimes have several people that will request to join. And then I usually have the 2 or 3 questions, have you read one of my books, or are you a reader, or, are you on social media? Just, whatever I want to ask them to make sure that, that they're really interested in being on the launch team. And it's wonderful to have them on because they just want to be on too. And they review the book and they can participate in all the games and the prizes and everything else. And so, like I said, at the end, it's just, it's kind of sad to leave because we've been hanging out for 45 days together. Right. And then the next book, I will likely continue to do a fresh Facebook group with each book and invite, everybody. That way, you can go through and clean up all your posts from the previous group, but I just like to start a fresh one and leave it out there. So
new group of people.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. It's a way for you, the author, to really connect with your readers. I mean, in a very personal way. And I think I really enjoy that. I really do.
Have you ever paid for a blog tour, or has Bethany House ever given you a blog tour, or do you line up get blog posts or?
Well, with my very first book, because it was my debut novel, yes, they did. They scheduled a blog tour. I think it was with TLC Tours. And but after that, it's kind of my responsibility to organize that. Although if I asked them, they would help me coordinate it. I have not done one since then, a blog tour. I'll admit I'm not a big blogger. But there are some great companies out there that they will do the blog tour. They will boost reviews of your book. They will actually even help with your launch team. They'll be your launch team captain. They'll coordinate your launch team. And I've seen 2 or 3, and I know the people actually in the groups because they were on my launch team once, and they're just great people, and they're bloggers, and they just love books. They love shouting out about books. So that's definitely a plus. I don't know what the cost is, but I think, the big thing to remember too, and it's the same with giving out copies. If you're self-published or a small publisher, you might have to invest a little bit of money to, offer free books, but it's an investment in your career and it'll come back to you tenfold. Once you establish a group, and it will build as you go, because the more these readers spread the word of your books out there, the more readers you'll have. And every year for me, it has grown. It has grown more and more and more. So I feel like it's a good thing to do.
So I know that you have your influencers and your street team, and they post reviews. And then you can also hire a blog tour company, and the people who guess where you're a guest, they will post reviews. But how else can an author gain reviews? How can you spread the word to actually convince readers to give reviews online after they've read your book, especially for a newer author or a self-published author who might not have as much support? What are other ways authors can get reviews? Because reviews are so important.
They are important, and it's it's just not easy. I'll tell you that, because we don't like to go out there and say, oh, you better review my book, right. Even though it is super important that they do, because let's just talk about that for a moment. Let's say you are you're an author, and you are your book is on Amazon, let's say, and you need a certain amount of reviews with Amazon before they'll start recommending your book to other people looking at books.
Right. They'll boost it up. You need a certain amount, and then Amazon will boost it up.
Yeah, it's all a computerized thing. So I think it's 50. And then, there's 100 is the next break. So what you'd like to do is you would like to get at least 50 reviews on your book, because then it will have a presence online that you really don't have to do anything with that. The algorithms at Amazon or maybe Barnes & Noble or whatever, they'll go on and they'll help to promote your book with you. And it is kind of difficult to do it, and do it in a kind way that, gosh, I'd really appreciate a review. I guess that's the big thing you can do. Probably, and I don't know, I would imagine, for example, like with Kindle, they always ask you at the end of the book, do you want to review this book? So I would say that's a good thing. They probably want more people to review books than those that buy the paperback, because a lot of people just aren't on the computer a lot and that sort of thing. What I would suggest is, and I've told this to a few pre-published authors, is depending on what you write, whether you write historical, time slip, whatever type of novel, that's when time slip is present and you're writing simultaneously present and historical, is to start a Facebook group and find other people that like to read those books. Find other people that like to say read World War I historical fiction because that's what you write, and gather a group and make it fun and put a newsletter out. You can start this way before you even publish, and as you go and as you try to promote people to sign up for your newsletter or your Facebook group, you will be basically enlisting future readers. And you can start there with that. And there are other, there are social media groups like on Facebook, groups that are collective of writers, readers, bloggers. Join those groups and just ask, gosh, I would really appreciate it if somebody could review my book. It would help if you can offer them a book or offer them something to do it. And, just kind of build it that way. Because if you write a good book, it's going to happen. You're going to get more and more reviews. But the more you're out there with it, the more you're soliciting reviews or you're creating interest in that type of book. And I think the more, you're going to build momentum there and get the reviews you need. I know with my Facebook group, that is on my wish list. I will ask them, I give them the option to at least post 3 reviews. And if they want to do more, that's great, because I am shooting to get that number of reviews going so that, that algorithm will help me continue to promote my novel.
And what about book signings? Do you do a lot of book signings, or do you set them up yourself, or how do you find opportunities?
It's been kind of difficult with COVID, that kind of put the brakes on everything. But I've done book signings at indie bookstores. In fact, I just did a book signing because, people are starting to get out again at an independent bookstore in a town near mine, and celebrating Independent Bookstore Day. And it went really well. And usually I set those up myself because I don't travel too far, but I also have been invited to do book sales and book signings with organizations for myself, because I write Christian fiction, some Christian organizations, and I usually jump at those if it's not too far away. I finished doing one in Portland, which is a few hours from where I live, with my publisher, and that was fun. Again, you get to have that FaceTime with your readers, which is wonderful. So you really just have to coordinate that, and it's not really difficult to do. Barnes and Noble is, I have found anyway, that it's very open to new.
Right. And Kate and I, we've actually done a Barnes and Noble book signing together.
Yes.
And so you just approach the coordinator of the store, and they have a schedule, and they'll look in their computer and they'll book your schedule. And Kate and I have done book signings together. We've done book signings with other people. And sometimes it's good to team up so that you're not the only one. And it makes it more fun for the authors. It brings in a bigger audience, and it just makes the whole process more enjoyable.
I agree, Darlene. I think out of all the book signings I've done, I really enjoyed doing a book signing with you because, well, we're friends too, but that helps. But we just made it fun, and we went kind of with the attitude that, we created some collages with our stories, and we were both writing different timelines, but we had fun. We went with the idea of having fun, and we had a really great turnout. So sometimes it's a little inhibiting when you go yourself and you just sit at a table. I think readers get a little inhibited about coming up to you, but if you've got a set program to do, if you go in and say, okay, for an hour, it's going to start at this time, and we're going to talk about history, or we're going to talk about our books, or we're going to have a quiz, or make it fun, chocolate prizes, whatever, then people are less inhibited by that. They're coming to attend a performance, if you will, and get to know the authors that way, and see that side of them. It's not just facing that one person behind the table with the pen in their hand signing books.
Right. And then I know we've also done some community events where groups of authors, even at our local mall, there was a head coordinator, and anyone can do this. It just takes one person to step forward and organize, talk to the head of them all, and set it up. And then we've had like 50 authors in the middle of the mall where we were all had tables and we were all signing books. And that was a lot of fun. And I know our particular community, a lot of the authors joined together to participate in several different author events and groups like that. And that's really a good thing if you can do that in your area, or if you can meet other authors wherever you go and join together, network, even if you find them online. And that's another thing, you can do online book parties, and where several authors participate.
Yeah, Facebook parties, sure.
Yeah.
That seems to be really popular right now too, with a launch, to do a Facebook party and celebrate your book. And like you just said, if you can do it with another author, say, who's releasing at the same time, that's kind of fun too. Again, it builds camaraderie. It takes some of the pressure off of the author to, it just makes it more relaxed. And when you're more relaxed, you do gather more people around you. I mean, it's just, you build more excitement that way.
Right. And so I believe in joining a lot of writers groups. And so what do you think about belonging to writers groups and attending writers conferences? Do you think it's beneficial it's definitely beneficial for a writing career, but if you have a book launch, do you tend to get more sales or promotion or help from writers groups or communities that you've joined?
Well, I agree. Joining a writers group is absolutely a wonderful idea, because you learn from other people. You learn what their tricks are, as far as launching and promotion and things. And yes, you can get them to help support you, say, when your book comes out, and you can reciprocate and do the same for them. It goes back to what you're talking about with networking. If you've got, and I know we do that with our own writer friends. If we've got one who's got a book coming out, we promote her, and in return she promotes us, and it's a successful way. As far as the conferences go themselves, it would depend. If it's like we have a local conferences is really good for that. You can bring your books to it, and you usually have a great fan base there because everybody knows you and they want to support you. They also have national conferences, and that's a great way to network, and not only get workshops, but to network with agents and editors and other writers, and form friendships with people that you might be able to collaborate with when you return home to do some of the marketing there. But I definitely think it's that networking. I hate to keep using that word, but that's really what it is. You need to get connected with other writers, because we each have a certain level of experience, and we're always willing to help another author up, help him or her, promote themselves and learn the ropes, basically, of marketing and helping them be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So without a doubt. And contests, I know you're going to ask me that one.
I was going to say, what other kind of personal marketing do you create? Now, I know that personally you use a lot of Canva. And so if you could talk about that to create, you'll have your book cover and you'll create Canva, like memes. Is that what it's called? Book promotion for.
Yeah, they're called memes or graphics. I suppose I really call them graphics unless they're, I guess they're a meme if you have quotes and text in there. But yes, exactly. Right. I will either create, like with my last book, I love Canva. It's just wonderful, easy, wonderful to use. But I created a lot of Scottish backgrounds and to complement the cover of my book. And then I would, if I received, I might put a quote in there from the book. Or after the book had released, I might post something, Publishers Weekly said, or Book List, which are, trade publications, and then just blast those. I did some for pre-order too, pre-order now, and then, maybe a link to the site that they could get a really good discount on my book if they order it early. And I came up with, oh my goodness, I think I must have created about 20 of these, and they were really easy. I mean, once you get the basics down, and because people are very visual, and if they see that, especially on social media like Instagram, which is almost all visual, it really alerts people ahead of the game. months before that your book is coming out, and it builds that anticipation. And I hear from people say, "Oh, I just pre-ordered my copy," and that's
Right.
great. That's what you would love them to do, you know. And
Uh-huh.
that way they'll get that book the minute it releases.
Right. And
Another
that's
thing you can do too is Goodreads. Oh, post on Goodreads. You can get your book up there, get your cover up there, your premise, your story, flap copy on the back up there early, and start building momentum that way too. And that's totally free if you set up a Goodreads account if you don't already have one, and you put the artwork in yourself and everything, and you get it all set up. And that's a wonderful way, because there's a lot of people on Goodreads, and I believe you can do the same with BookBub. That is another one. bookbub.com. They have a huge following.
right. Especially if you're self-published.
So
You can put a lot of self-published people, you can put your book on BookBub and apply for different promotional things that sometimes the traditional publishing, you can't do that. So depending.
yeah, that's true.
And
So,
and then I know you do a lot of video clips. You want to tell us about when you visited a pigeon carrier place for one of your books, and tell us about, you do Facebook Live videos, or
oh no,
or the recorded and then post videos for your
no,
book
those
launches?
were actually one of my. Yeah, you can certainly do that through YouTube now. It makes it really easy. That particular book, which was Far Side of the Sea, I don't have it here, but it had pigeons in the story, and that was the time when my launch team captain came up, and we spent a couple of days together, and she basically videoed me doing all kinds of things, you know, fun things. We went to Tacoma. We were in historic Tacoma. We went to my character in the book rode a motorcycle, so I think we went to a car place, you know, a motor vehicle place for that, a historic place. And then pigeons, I managed to find someone who had a dovecote with pigeons, and she videotaped, you know, videoed me there on her, basically used her phone, and while we held the pigeons, and he told us about them. So we really created a lot of fun content. And then she's the one that broke it down for me and sent me the video that I could post. And I always post first to my launch team. They get everything first. And then, you know, after that, when they're done with that. And what I would do there too, just to give you an example, is when we posted a video and we set it up like, you know, post one a week until they were over, we strategize it through the duration of the launch. People who commented, then I would draw a name and send them a little prize, you know,
Right.
whoever
So-
commented on the video.
So for viewers,
and then
right.
post it on my page.
Right. So for viewers, each day before your book launch, for viewers, each day they were getting, like, online social media, they could see a little video clip leading up to the book release day. And so that was a lot of fun.
It's a great variety, sure.
So that's
It was,
fun.
and it's good too, because the thing, you know, we have to worry about, you know, you don't want to be promote all the time. You know, they want to see other things, right? And I think they enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed doing it. It was, you know, it was up close and personal. We did go to a place and they're still on my Facebook page, my author page, for everybody to look at. But we went to a manuscript museum and looked at old manuscripts, and I did a set there, and you know, we talked about you know, rejections, and I had a packet of my rejections over the years, and you know, we got some really good, some good feedback on that, you know, because it takes time, you know, to publish, and just did a lot of fun things. And I stood out in front of some old World War I guns that they had in the front yard, which kind of it resonated with my World War I story. So things like that, you know, you can find different things that maybe will resonate with what you're writing, and have a friend or even yourself now, because you can, you know, you can buy the holder and videotape yourself and say, here I am, you know, and my book's about this, and I thought I would come here and show you this, because it's something, it's promoting your book, but you're also offering your reader some interesting information.
Right. And everybody's using video now. It's like everyone uses their cell phones and everyone's recording. And so that's a good trend. So I know we went over many things for book promotion, but do you have any other last advice you'd like to share with aspiring writers who are planning their very first book launch, or what are the first steps they should take, or other things they should consider, like especially if they have a limited budget or short on time?
Well, I'll tell you, with my very first book launching, I really did enlist a lot of my friends, my family, people at my church, people I knew from the bookstore industry. And it started out small, but they were wonderful to help me. And I did I offered to do blogs. And again, I'll say join writers groups. It's free. You can join them online. You can put it out there, say, hey, I have a new book out. I'd really love to do a blog or an interview. And almost always you will get somebody that's willing to, have you on their blog, because it helps them too. It helps them keep their site active. So I would say writers groups, social media, join writers groups and social media, maybe in the genre that you write in. If you write contemporary or historical, or like I said, split time, which is kind of an entity of its own now, and reach out to them. And, like I said, it depends. The benefit of self-publishing is you can offer a book for pretty inexpensively. My paperback books are, they're a bit more money. But you can offer an ebook, let's say, for $1.99. You can even maybe offer it free, depending on, how you're publishing. And so these are things that you want to offer them to do. And then, it just spreads from there. So I guess that's my biggest thing right there. It's just, you have to kind of step out of your comfort zone at first and let people see your writing. But bottom line is, write a good book.
Right. So your
book.
So your sixth book, In Love's Time, is set to release December 13th of this year, 2022. Can you tell us what this book is about?
It is. Yes, it is kind of my final I have a connecting series of World War I books, starting with Not by Sight, which I showed you earlier. And it will be the fifth book in that World War I series. And the reason I call it a series, it's actually a connecting series. Each book is standalone. You can read it by itself, but there's one connecting character throughout. And it's his story. His name is Marcus. And it involves, I like to write about romance and adventure and espionage. And can't say too much about it yet, other than he's always had kind of a problems with romance, because he's always been busy with work, and he kind of meets his challenge in this book. And I hope readers enjoy it. I had fun writing it, and I do bring some of the other characters from the other books into the story, and that was kind of fun. And I'm going to be promoting it very soon, so I hope, people will give it.
It's available for pre-order right now, isn't it? Or it comes out.
It is. It's available.
But people can pre-order now.
Yes, and if you visit my website, katebreslin.com, the new artwork is loaded and links to, you can buy it right there through the website, go directly to your favorite online store, or go in and order it from your favorite bookstore.
Okay, and so this new book comes out December. So what month? This is May. What month are you going to start your book promotion for this new book?
I'm actually gearing up to start it next month, June 1st, my 6th month, which I told you earlier. So I'm going to start sending out pre-order cards. I've already ordered my cards. I designed my cards. Let me see if I can show you in just a moment. Let's see if this will show up. There's the cover.
And there's the cover right there.
And yep. And can you see it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I send these out, and there's the basically the flap copy in the back, and me, and places that they can buy the book to get a good discount. And the reason I make them in this size and not the other is because this fits into a business size envelope and saves me a whole lot of postage. If I was to, because I can usually send out multiple copies, and I pay a little extra more than a stamp, but it has saved me a lot of money doing it that way versus sending them out in like padded envelopes and things like that. So I'll start sending those out, probably going to reach out to my former launch team members who will hopefully be on this book as well, and see if they'll start passing these out for me, and then start working on my graphics, getting those all ready to go, and work up my influencer list for my publisher. Probably that will happen in September, late August, September.
Do you intend
just kind of get things set up?
Do you intend to do anything unique? Do you intend to do anything unique or different for this book launch than you have for your other novels? Maybe because of the setting, or just a new idea that you've had, or I know we always try different things as authors.
Yeah. I've got a little something I'm going to include in the packets. I'm going to kind of make up little goodies, but that pertain to the book. But I haven't really thought too much about that yet. I think it would be fun to do maybe some video time. The story takes place mostly in Britain this time. So, I might play on something there, and I'm going to be including some things in my newsletter and giving more in the way of updates on the characters. And you're welcome to stop by my website, katebreslin.com, and sign up for my newsletter if you'd like to check it out and see story updates. And I usually post recipes from my books in the letter that you can try. Some of these are World War I, and they're actually pretty good because I actually make them first. And just what I'm reading right now and what I'm working on next. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and visiting with us today and chatting about book promotion. And again, her website is katebreslin.com. And if you would like more author chats and how-to articles on fiction writing, you can visit aspiringwriter.com. So thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Darlene.